All right. Here we are in the third part of this mini series of how to last longer in bed. Um, like I said, this has come up and it comes up all the time. And a lot of guys are just like, bro, what do I got to do? What I got to do? And it's pretty simple, right? You just got to train for it. The same way that you train for anything else in this life, you got to train for this too, man. Like there's no way around it. It requires the same things. Like you just got to pay attention to it. You got to be attentive. You got to be conscious. You got to be actively engaged. You do these things and you will be able to last longer in bed. And it's not as hard as a lot of people make it seem, right? And like I said before, the whole reason why I started this is number one, questions. A lot of people were getting at me like, hey, bro, what do I do for this? How do I last longer? I really want to learn to last a whole lot longer in bed, right? So to simplify it, I'm just going to give you guys a lowdown as to the things that actually work, the techniques, the strategies, and a lot of people just post a lot of fluff, and then I see a whole bunch of ebooks and this guy's selling a course on. And I'm like, bro, you know what? Like, it's not that hard. If you apply these concepts, you'll be able to last longer in bed. So that being said, let's start off going over some of the things that we talked about before. So number one, breath work, actual breath work though, right? You want to make sure you're breathing slow, breathing with the diaphragm. Yeah, I think I said esophagus last time. Yeah, you want to breathe with your diaphragm. You want to be making sure that you breathe in deep, do the belly breaths, get into other forms of breath work, box breaths, 5 seconds, all that good stuff. You want to be able to control your breath, which will then translate to you being able to control the sensations that you feel as you are making sweet love or as you are edging initially, which will also help to just bring you down. You might be from a 10, you're about to bust your nut, but you breathe out, relax, relax, relax. You do that, it's going to be extremely beneficial in having it or making it so you can last a whole lot longer in bed, which is essentially what we're going after here, right? We're not trying to beat around the bush. I'm not telling you generic bullshit. I'm just giving you the facts as to how you last longer. And these are the strategies that I employed personally that helped me last a lot longer. So that being said, breath work and then doing the edging sessions. And we're doing that more to avoid or know how the contractions feel prior to, so you don't get like overwhelmed by them when it happens in the moment, right? You don't want to be doing that. So you want to make sure that you get the breath work down, edging, and now I'm going to talk about reverse Kegels. The reason why I specifically talk about reverse Kegels is that too many guys are doing the normal Kegels. Too many guys are clenched up like this all day and they don't even realize it. You go to the gym, you do the squats, you're like, you're doing all kinds of different things throughout the day. You're stressed. Pelvic floor is right there all day, right? So you don't want to be constantly in that state. And the reason why more than anything is that it makes it so your pelvic floor, basically your PC muscle is just like super tight all day. It's like, and you put your dick in some pussy and you're like, I'm ready to bust. Pop goes the weasel. So you don't want that to be you. You want to relax a little bit. So in doing the reverse Kegels, imagine you're going to go take a piss right now, right? And you want to stop the flow of urine. That, my friends, is called a Kegel, right? So you can do erect Kegels. It is something in the PE community that a lot of people use to improve erectile quality. And there's some guys that do need it. There is a podcast episode I did with Dr. Lance Frank, where he basically talked about Kegels, how it works, what to do and what not to do, and what some people are doing too much of, right? So if you're somebody that maybe has been doing Kegels, too many Kegels, then reverse Kegling is probably one of the things that you do want to do, right? So let me switch this light around, see that one. All right, check that out. So if you are somebody that has been doing or is constantly in the stressed out state and has a tight pelvic floor, then you want to do the reverse Kegels. Reverse Kegels, on the other hand, instead of like stopping the stream of piss, it's like you're pushing out the stream of piss. If you can understand that analogy, then now you understand what a reverse Kegel is. It's like you're pushing out, right? And you want to make sure you're not really contracting your abdomen when you're doing it. You don't want to be contracting your abs. They will be engaged to a certain degree, and the better you get, the better you will become at isolating the muscle the same way you do like in bodybuilding. It's like, okay, I just want to focus on my bicep. I just, So the same way that you do that, and you can just isolate like just the bicep, right? Or short head, long head, right? In the same way you can do that eventually is the same way that you should be able to recognize the PC muscle versus the BC muscle, aka the Kegel versus the reverse Kegel. Now, for the reverse Kegels, there's different ways to go about it. And the main reason why I say this is that this is probably like the X factor for me. This is what really helped me. I'm like, whoa, like I went from lasting like 5 minutes to 15 minutes a whole lot, like easily, right, without trying. And like I said before, I know some of you guys listen to episodes where I talked about how like doing excessive Kegling gave me it gave me premature ejaculation. I didn't know why. I'm like, what the fuck is going on, dude? I remember I was doing nothing but like Kegels, erect Kegels. And the more I did it, dude, the worse my PE got. Like, man, premature ejaculation. Like, it was awful. It was so bad. It got to the point where I got scared. I was like, yo, man, what did I do to myself? And even my wife was like, dude, what is wrong with you? Luckily, she didn't leave me, though. So that's good. Gave her the worst sex for about 6 months. I think it was less than that. Regardless, you don't want to be in that boat, right? So the way that you want to avoid that is to balance out your pelvic floor. If there is a physician or somebody that can work with you or some type of therapist, physical therapist, they can help you out and just kind of help direct you in the right way. Like, hey, maybe you need to stop tightening up your pelvic floor muscle so much. Maybe you got to level it out. So honestly, this is just what worked for me and what you can apply to yourself and see if it works for you, right? So the reverse Kegels is what really worked for me. The method that I went about doing it, right? Again, this is what worked for me, and I hope you guys can use it, and I hope it can work for you as well. I started doing the reverse Kegels, and I would basically push out for about 5 seconds. So even right now, I'll push 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then relax. Just kind of breathe out. Don't hold your breath. Relax. That's it. It's kind of like you can do it anywhere, anytime. So there's really no excuse as to why, you can't do it. Like you can do it at any time. You're sitting in the bus, you're at work sitting down, you can do it at any time. You just got to set a reminder up. And that's it, dude. Like honestly, just push out. Obviously, you can push out for longer, push out for shorter. Some guys will talk about doing some reps where it's just kind of like a fast rep, like, or you slow it down, you're like 10-second hold, 1, 2, it's all up to you. My advice is test it out and understand that your BC muscle will be a little bit fatigued after doing a workout. So try not to have sex the day after. You could edge as well the day of or the day after and just see kind of how you feel and just kind of gauge like, okay, I kind of feel like my pelvic floor is fatigued. I don't think it'd be wise for me to have sex because I've had that too where it's just like, oh my gosh, like it just felt tired, right? And in feeling tired, your erections are kind of going to be lackluster and you may not be able to control in the way that you thought you could, right? So always give yourself the time to heal and really apply that. For a lot of guys, they'll find that doing the reverse Kegels is beneficial. And like I said before, it's something that was an X factor for me. And by X factor, I mean, I was surprised at how well it worked. And it took me it doubled my time easily, so easy to the point where I'm just like I thought, I'm like, okay, snap. Like, I don't know what I did here, but I was taking observations. I had to write it down the next day. I'm like, okay, what does my workout look like? And that's what I'll give you guys right now. Honestly, it's like, I'll be driving to work. I do 3 days a week, and I do anywhere from about 10 to 20 minutes, right? And I'll just do 5-second, holds. Then I'll do 10 seconds. Then I'll try to hold for like 20 to 30 seconds. And if I feel fatigued before, somewhere in between the 10 to 20 minute mark, that's cool. Then I'm done, right? I'm done. And in between that, I just let it heal up. Why? If you don't give your muscles time to heal, then they will just be constantly fatigued. You go to the gym, you work out, you're like, okay, snap, I want to get swole. All right. See, my triceps would not grow if I'm constantly overworking them every single day, right? In order for me to put on size, I need to actually give my body time to recover. Same deal with PE. It's the same deal with your pelvic floor muscles. You have to give yourself time. There's other people that do argue it when it comes to PE that you should heal up in different ways. I am a fan of the all-day stretcher. I don't go about it that way anymore. And like I said, I'm doing more of a maintenance routine, so that really doesn't affect me too much. But I would advise that you give yourself the time to heal. But definitely give reverse Kegels a shot. See how it goes for you. And let me know in the comments if it does work. All right. Subscribe for more good content. Be sure to follow me on Instagram. I think I got the Masculine Health Solutions there as well, which is more just the podcast clips and all that good stuff. And that's pretty much the third part for this mini series. Next up, we're going to talk about some of the generic things which are important, and you can't really perform to the fullest if you don't take care of these things. So we are going to go over it quickly, and that's going to be pretty much it in this mini series. We'll see you guys in the next episode.